To be a world champion in anything is the dream of many people. To be a world champion in a one-to-one competition that involves physical risk, involves the possibility of pain, involves lots of people watching, and what was called many years ago the agony of defeat, is an incredible thought. And to realize that Stan Mabry is a very mild-mannered, professorial almost, slender, gray-haired, 60-plus-year-old gentleman who has won 7 consecutive world champions in International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation. It's amazing. Just watching him and realizing that his average match lasts only 15 seconds tells you something about his focus, his ability to know what he's doing, and to really carry through and make all that happen. Now, what I found so inspiring about listening to Stan is that he expresses things in a very simple way. And the concept that he outlined that he calls the energy pie, that each of us has a given number of minutes and hours in a day, and how we divide that up makes all the difference in our ability to concentrate. This principle of concentration is a very valid one for everyone in whatever walk of life. So Stan has simplified his life. Although he does enjoy other pursuits, I happen to know him and know that he does, he really believes that his energy pie is divided into his family, his business, and his training. And he keeps things very, very simple. He's not really into technology. He doesn't spend a lot of time watching TV or videos. Instead, he focuses on training, and he focuses on becoming a master of his profession of art. In other words, because he's only got 3 major priorities, he's actually got plenty of time. And many of us, our time gets diverted and pulled into so many little bits and pieces that we lose that ability to concentrate. But if you watch what Stan has done, it's incredible. Now realize that he has worked his way up through the different belts, the yellow belt, the brown belt, etc. And after the 2016 World Championship, he was promoted on the stage to the black belt. And there he was, 60-plus years old, working his way through the rounds of the tournament to beat many younger and many more seasoned experiences because of people who had a lot more years of working in the black belt. Now, when he spoke, he had another clear concept. He said, there are setbacks, and they are good setbacks, describing the time that he suddenly lost, even though he was 7-0 ahead on points. There are setbacks, and there are good setbacks. They teach us something. So what is it that we take from our setbacks? There's not a human that has ever tried things that hasn't failed at things. And so the question is, what do we take from it? Is it a lesson? Hopefully so. But my encouragement also is that we also take a sense of pride that we made the attempt, Teddy Roosevelt said, the credit belongs to the person who is in the arena. So just being willing to try, to give it a go, should be considered a victory. And each one of us ought to take pride in that and measure ourselves against our past efforts. Now, Stan is very self-critical. He does have coaching. He appreciates that. But he knows almost instantly when he's done something incorrectly, and he strives with his concentration to not do it the same next time. What about all of us? Do we find that we repeat the same mistakes? I'm so moved by the information that I received many years ago from the assistant base commander at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. One of the members of our group said, so by the way, what happens when one of these young technicians here makes a mistake? And he, in all seriousness, said, if we make a mistake, then a pilot in combat will die. Very somber moment at that time. And he said, but let me show you what we believe about that. And he pointed to a sign on the wall that says, something is not a mistake unless you do the same wrong thing twice. Everything else is a learning experience. And that's exactly what Stan spoke about. He said there are setbacks, and they are good setbacks. And he's had setbacks in his art business. He's had setbacks in his personal life. He's had setbacks fighting. And all of us do. Just sometimes we look at world champions and say, well, clearly they must not have faced some of the things that I've had to face. And we know now that that is completely untrue. He's a huge believer in self-talk, positive phrases that he has written down. Before the interview, we were able to look at his cards, and he's got handwritten cards with the very statements that he believes, and he reads these daily and reminds himself of them. Some of the ones that are so powerful, he says, I constantly renew my commitment. There is a very powerful saying from the Bible that says, as a man thinketh, as a person thinketh, so is he or she. And if we are constantly renewing our commitment, then that commitment gets stronger. If we're waffling on it or fading from that commitment, then it's going to simply get weaker. And so Stan's self-talk is always focused on, I constantly renew my commitment. He's become a student in the world of art. He's become a teacher in the world of art. And he was a student and then a teacher in the world of martial arts. And it's a consistent pattern that you see with this individual. Highly successful people aren't always gifted. They don't necessarily have more talent or skill or ability than anyone else. But what they have is the ability to concentrate, to use their energy pie in the right ways, and to continually renew their commitment. So my challenge after listening to Stan is to ask myself, how am I subdividing my time? Where's it going? Is it making a difference? Is it leading to the greater good? And when we can pare down our activities so that we focus in those areas, what a huge thing that does for us. Now, many of the listeners on this podcast have large organizations. You're leading and you're managing and you're developing people. So if we're always focused on using our time on the things that we uniquely can do and developing others by giving them everything else. It takes time to delegate. It takes time to teach. But when we do that, we empower someone. They gain a greater sense of fulfillment and satisfaction of what they're doing. And as a result, they become more enamored of their job, their work, their career. And it helps us concentrate on just those things that we do best. And that's really what the energy pie that Stan Mabry taught to us is all about. So I was inspired by this. Hopefully you were as well. This does not mean that we have to immediately launch out into a career in physical fighting, but we all have fights every day. We have emotional battles. Many of those emotional battles are against the demon between our left ear and our right ear. And as we keep striving and keep learning and realizing that as we renew our commitment every day and divide our energy pie properly, great things can happen. An inspirational interview with the world champion, mild-mannered by day, world champion fighter by night, Stan Mabry. Thanks, everyone. Look forward to next time.